Hi everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I feel like it's been a minute since I've made a video, but it hasn't been a minute since I've made videos. I've been busy filming for my spring online retreat, so it's all done. All of the videos, they're pre-done and they're pre-posted, so it's not like a live event. It happens over the course of this coming weekend. Well, it starts today. Today's Friday, April 1st, so happy April Fool's Day. But we do 12 projects, so that's a lot of me talking to myself. I got all the videos recorded in about 2 days, I think. But it's a lot of filming and talking and editing and uploading and downloading and picture taking and PDF making. So I have been super busy creating the projects and cutting the projects and mailing the projects and packaging projects. So my channel gets a little bit neglected when I do those classes. And in the midst of all of that, we had, the last chance list and ordering catalogs and me trying to get out the stuff in my office that's retiring. So you may have felt like I was missing, but I was super, super busy. I couldn't have crammed possibly one more thing into the day. So that's where I've been. So like I said, April 1st, that means there's new thank you gifts. So let me do those first. So April, I don't have any online classes. The only thing happening this month is Card Club, and that's the video I'm going to do today. So if you're in Card Club, it's your first project. If you're not in Card Club, I'll explain a little bit about what that is as we go, but you'll get to see their project anyway, and you can create that if you already have the things. And then in a few days, I will open up registration for Try It class, and I'll explain a tiny bit about that in this video, but there will be more of that to come next week. So hopefully on Monday, I did place my order today for the new catalogs, and hopefully on Monday, my stuff will be here, so I'll be able to show you all of the things that I got. I didn't get everything. Pretty close, but not everything. So I'll have a lot of new things to show you. So to make my month simple, normally my thank you gifts have 4 tiers. And the way I do my thank you gifts is if you purchase online or if you call your orders, you can always call your orders into me and I'm happy. You can text them, you can email them. I'm happy to place them for you. But it's for those orders. I don't do that many in-person events these days, but if you're at an in-person event, those have their own separate specials. But normally I have 4 tiers, and here's how it works. If you order today, and then on the 15th, you're like, oh, there's a few more things I want to add. Stampin' Up! Doesn't accumulate gifts. I do. So if you have $50 of things you want today, and then later on you're like, oh, there's another $50 I wanted, your stuff with me keeps adding up. So normally there's 4 different tiers, and at the end of the month, I just add up everything you spent, and then that's the level that it hits you at. It doesn't include shipping and handling and tax because I do it from Stampin' Up! Spreadsheet from how much your order was, and they don't include shipping and handling and tax. But this month, I am so busy, even though I'm not doing a lot of stamping stuff, my life is busy. So I've done 2 tiers. Makes it easy for you, and it makes it easier for me, and they're a little bit lower for you to hit some of the bigger things. So at $50, you can get this bone folder, and then my friend makes the cutest little bone folder charms. I've had this one on for a while, and I know a lot of times when people watch, they're like, where'd you get the little charm? So my husband drills the holes, and my friend Tanya at the Wonder Basement makes the little charms. Yours will have much more current merchandise. This is old on it, but no matter how old it gets, it's still super cute. So that's $50. And at $50, you also get the supplies to make my first VIP video. Now, if you spend $10, you always get the videos for all of my VIP videos for that month. So that's April's 50. You get 2 things at 50. And then at 150, you get that. You still get those 2 things. And then you're going to get, I thought I had one to show you. I don't. They're on their way. The Under the Weather kit. If you already have the Under the Weather kit and you want to substitute it for one that's the same or under, you can. There is a picture of it in my latest email, and I will put it on my blog. But it's the kit. I think it's a $20 value. So you get that, plus you get the supplies for just $150. Normally my VIP video project for number 2 is at least $200. It's usually between $200 to $250, but you get that. So next month, I only have to think about 2 things, and you only have to think about 2 things. So it's probably the lowest I will ever do to get both of my VIP video projects. So that's my thank you gifts. So got that. Then Like I said, annual catalog. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning this morning to order all the catalogs for you guys. So they're shipped straight to me as soon as I have them. I do it early, so I will be at the front of the line instead of the end of the line, because today's Friday. I wanted Stampin' Up! To hopefully get them on the truck to me today and not Monday, because it's Friday. I didn't want to wait till Monday for them to be sent to me. So everybody that ordered in March, you're going to get yours first. And then there's like a way I'm doing it. It's all in the email. There's the cover. That's all I can show you for now. Like I said, Monday I will have hopefully, UPS used to be so reliable, and then, they blame everything on COVID. Still blaming everything on COVID, even though there's not really COVID. But I did overnight my stuff. Once upon a time, if you overnighted, that meant Friday. Saturday was overnight. Now it doesn't even mean that. But hopefully it'll be here on Monday, and I can show you that. I do have this one stamp set. And as much as I love it, I wasn't excited that that's the stamp set I got, because I can't really do anything with it. I'm going to use it on today's card because, it's for the back of your cards. And it is cute, don't get me wrong. But I wanted something that I could show you a cute project with. And yeah, that's not really it. But it's called Limited Edition. It is in the back, and I will show you a little bit more as I use it. So that's those two things. Now, Card Club. So for those of you in Card Club, you're all going to see a tiny little sneak peek. Some of you have been asking, where's your alternate project? Here it is. You're going to see it all in your email in just a minute after I post this, and you get your the links to purchase today's or April's alternate things. So there's your March alternate project. You'll get to see it better. And then in your videos for April, I'll show it to you. So I don't have any of this cut because it's all I can do to get it out to you. And so you're going to see my giant packs of things. So for April Card Club. So my Card Club is a subscription service. If you're not in it, it's $38. It's the cheapest thing I do. You sign up with PayPal subscription services. You do not have to have a PayPal. They're really safe and secure, and they handle it all for me. That's why I choose them. So $38. What do you get for your $38? This month, you're getting a half a pack of cardstock. Last month, they got 2 kinds of cardstock. So it just depends on what I can get you for your $38. So this month, you're getting a half a pack of the Flowering Fields, which is in the mini. Most months, you get a whole spool of ribbon. This month, you are getting, it's the ribbon that goes with this. It is the Window Pane Check ribbon. It goes with that. You're getting a full pack of the polished dots. And then they always get this supplies to make 6 cards. So there's 2 of each. There's 3 designs, 2 of each. One of them you're all going to get to see today. The other 2, are just for the club members. And then, like I said, I do alternate projects, and our alternate set is color and contour. And it'll be that. It's that for like 6 months, and then I'll switch. I do, and then we Zoom together where I do mix and match. So the stuff that they got in January, I may mix it up with the stuff that they get in April. And so we mix and match what we've gotten before. And then you can add on this month the Flowering Tulips. So this does have dies. Normally, you do not have to have a die cut machine to do Card Club. So we never use a die cut machine in Card Club ever. If there are dies that are on your projects, I would like to say I cut them out for you, but that would not be the truth. My husband does it. It's a very rare occasion that I die cut. Sometimes I do, but that's not, even sometimes I do is not quite the truth. So this does have dies. So if you want to order the dies as part of your add-on, you can. And a perk of being in Card Club is when they add this on, that will be in your email today. You can I'm going to let you add the dies on if you do have a die cut machine, because the dies are fabulous, and we will. I know for sure that one of the cards we will do a tulip builder, so you'll get the pieces for that. And then we may, because we only do 3 designs, but I really like this little tulip border too. I have 3 designs sometimes kills me because I always have way more designs than 3 for all of these sets. So you can either add on just the set, or you'll be able to add on the bundle. And I pick up the shipping, the handling, and the tax as a perk of Card Club. So, and then they get 6 envelopes. Always get a little treat after you've been in the Card Club for 6 months. On the 7th month, which a ton of people this month are getting their 7th month. One more thing to add to my super busy month. You get a loyalty bag along with that's filled with $25 worth of product. So you get that on your 7th month, every 7th month after 6 months. And it has to be 6 continual. You can't start and restop because my spreadsheet doesn't figure it that way, and I have too many things to do to add you back in and add you back out. Now, if your credit card messes you up and you go back in the same month, I get that because, you know, our credit cards do that these days. So I'm going to show you your first project. Now, this paper is fabulous. I have it here so I can kind of show you. Super fun, super bright paper. You don't have to always use the tulip side. In fact, if you saw my video with the magic magnetic slider card, I used this and there's no tulips showing on it at all. But the tulips, you know, right now it's spring. So of course we're going to use the tulip sides. And the reason we do 6 projects and it's 2 of each is because that way they can do 1 of each project. And then if they want, they can save this stuff and do the second project. So for this one, I've already done the one. So they would get 2 sheets of the old olive. They would get 2 sheets of the vellum. And the other one, of course, they will have die cuts. This one doesn't. And then they cut down their cardstock. I give them the measurements. So you'll cut this down to 4. It's 4 and it's 5 and an 1/8 inch bigger than a quarter because I really wanted to see all of these beautiful tulips. So there's just a tiny bit of a border top and bottom. And then here's your vellum. So I originally started with this and it had a circle and I didn't like it. So I switched. So I was going to quickly throw this card together because it was in my head, but the white was just too stark on this, and then it covered up all of the beautiful tulips. But what we're going to do first on this is because this is a builder set. So you can see that there's all these different stamps and there's great words. The sentiments in this flowering and tulips are fabulous. Like, no one deserves a happier birthday than you. You can take that out, and I have a little cute little tier that you can, like a tiered tray. It's about this high that you can get. I got Home Goods, and you can pull out sets like this because you could use this with the bears. It doesn't have to go with tulips. It can go with the sailboat. So you can use it on any set because no one deserves a happier birthday than you. You can use that 12 months of the year. It doesn't have to go with the tulips. Let today be the start of something new. So some of these, this one has particularly good sentiments. Sometimes the sentiments are kind of weird, but this one has really good ones. So I'm going to show you 2 things. I'm going to show you how to do the tulip builders. I'm going to do that kind of on the scrap over here. And then we're going to stamp this. Now I'm going to also emboss on this. Now, if you're in Card Club and you don't have this stuff to emboss, you do not have to emboss. It's a little wow factor at the end. And it also, because it's spring. And you know what they say about April showers? They bring May flowers. But it also makes it very, take a long time for stuff to dry when you're stamping. Somebody needs to invent a saying for that about how it just makes it muggy in my house all day long. So I'm going to start with Memento. And the colors, if you're in Card Club, the colors that we'll use this month are the colors in the paper. So you can look in your mini catalog, or you can go to my website and pull up the paper, and those are the colors that we'll use, except for black. We are going to use that. So I'm going to start with this, and this will kind of then will work up. But the nice thing about the vellum, and I guess it's the nice thing about it being raining outside, is that I didn't intend to emboss this, and I took forever, and I even got a phone call from the vet, and I was on the phone for about 10 minutes. And when I went to emboss at the end, my card was still nice and wet. So if you don't have embossing stuff and you don't want to emboss it and it's muggy, now I know some of you are not where it's muggy, so you don't have to emboss. You can just let it sit for a good probably 10 minutes and it'll dry. If you're where it's muggy, you'll probably have to let it sit a good 30, 40 minutes and let it dry. So each one of these flowers has 2 pieces. So on this one, and you can tell when you look at the colors that they've given you colors in the paper. Well, here you can see it. See, there's 2 colors. So this has the raspberry and the heather. This has petal pink and poppy. This has pumpkin pie and maybe petal pink again. So they've done that in the colors of the paper because that's kind of also how the stamps work. That's part of the reason I chose this piece of paper for our background. So let's go with this. I chose this one for purple. So we are going to go raspberry for the dark one. And then it's up to you. You can kind of play with them to see if you want to do the one that's fuller or the one that's less full. to be the one that you do. So there's that one. And then for this one, I'm just going to kind of stamp off because Razzleberry is a super deep color. But see, even then, it's almost as dark. So we got 2 of those. And then I'm going to flip to this one over here, and I'm going to do Highland Heather. And they're really easy to line up because they're photopolymer. And they kind of have like this swoopy on the bottom. My hands are already dirty from all this ink. Some really bright colors of ink. But see, you just kind of match the little things up at the top. Go right over the top. And this one I'm going to ink again. And that way this one, the Highland Heather, will show up a little bit more. Isn't that pretty? So super pretty. So there we already have 2 tulips. And on that one's so dark I guess on mine, I felt like I was going to have to show you on this because I stamped on top of my designer series paper and it was a little bit hard to see them. This is working pretty well. Now, when you're doing this, you want to go then to the next largest flower because it's easier to fill in as you go. So we'll go to this tulip. And on this one, I'm going to just use Poppy because I started out and it's very beautiful to do this here with the petal pink and the poppy, but you put the petal pink on vellum on top of this and it disappears. So it's not a strong enough color to hold up against that paper on the vellum. So what we're going to do is we are going to, in fact, you can kind of still see that it's on here. Now look how much ink's left on here because when you stamp on vellum, it doesn't take all the ink off. That's why it takes so long to dry. So let's do Poppy on here and then I'm going to stamp off. And then let's see if I can get a whole one here. Just about. And then let's do Poppy and stamp off. And now we've got this a little bit lighter over here. It also won't emboss as well because there's not as much ink. But now we'll get this full Poppy here. The other thing that embossing does on vellum is it makes it look wet, which kind of goes with our rain theme, our April showers. So we have some April showers bringing us some Mayflowers, hopefully, and not snow. Because this morning when we got up, there was little dustings of snow. So now I'm going to do Pumpkin Pie and Mango Melody. Don't feel like you have to come up with the color themes. Just look at the paper. Even if you don't have the paper, if you have this stamp set, just go see what the Stampin' Up! Artist did for the paper, and that will give you some perfect little color themes. So let's do Pumpkin Pie. And then Mango Melody. Isn't it pretty? And it's so super simple. Sometimes I know you look at these stamp sets in the catalog and they're like, oh, I don't know that I'm going to be able to figure that out. If you ever see one of those and it's current and I haven't done anything with it, I might not have it, but I'm not afraid to try it. So feel free to message me and say, do you mind trying that? Now there's this one little black piece and see how this one has a hole in it? It goes right here. So just fill that in there. And then on the first one, I put stems, but here's the deal. They kind of got lost. So I'm not going to bother on this one because the green on that green paper, it got lost. So I'm not going to bother. So I'm going to do the leaves. I'm going to start with your big one, the taller one. Because you can fill in with the shorter one. So add one up here. And then just kind of go out. They don't have to match a flower. This is art. Don't get hung up on having enough leaves or having enough stem. We're going to add some ribbon and it's going to look like a bouquet. So it doesn't matter. Just going to spray those out. Fill it all in. Super easy. Now see, if you don't have the paper and you want to do it, you can add the stems if you want. You could let this dry and flip it over and stamp stems on the back so they're behind. So hopefully you can see how pretty that is and how wet it is. See, if you can see, it's wet everywhere. And I did get it on my hands the first time. So I'm going to flip this over. Now this is the part, if you're in Card Club and you don't have embossing stuff, just let it sit aside. You can just, you'll be able to see because you can see how wet it is if you're here live. But if you have embossing stuff, this is clear. So I'm just going to pour it on here. And it's been a minute since I did the black, and the black dries the fastest of all of them, especially those words. And remember that Poppy was a stamp off, so it wasn't even that wet. But see, it still has that on it. But you're just going to, when you see how beautiful this is, it takes it up a whole nother level. Now, you heat it from the bottom because there is a chance it could fly away because the Poppy and the black aren't super wet. So I'm going to move up where you can kind of see it. Hold it in one spot. You don't want it so close that it's going to chance burning your vellum, but it's obvious when it melts. And see, doesn't it look like the rain is all over our tulips? And just aim it so it's not going to burn your hands. If you've not done a lot of embossing, embossing this way is one of the easiest ways to get a feel for how it's melted. This is obvious. It goes from that dusty embossing powder on it to all the way shiny and shimmery. Plus, if it doesn't melt, it'll just fall off and that part just won't have rain on it. Now when it's mostly melted, kind of hold it around in the light, and if there's anywhere you think you've missed, just hit it this way. Now with embossing powder, you don't want to over melt it because how it's beautiful, shiny, and lifted up. If you melt it for too long, then it will go flat and it won't be shiny anymore. And embossing powder lasts a really long time, so everything in here just pour back into your jar. And it's so pretty. I hope that you can see how shiny it is. It's really, really pretty. And the other thing it does is, because this is really busy paper, and you could always put it here, but the embossing powder just helps it hold its own on that. Now you can always, if you'd rather, you can put it on some white. You could find another color. It was really hard to find a background color that I liked to put this whole thing on. So fold your old olive in half. I threw my bone folder on the floor because I showed it to you and forgot that it's actually a tool. So here's one that I have with, you know, when you have a friend who decorates your bone folders and a husband who drills them for you, then all your bone folders get decorated. So we're going to put this. Now, it's always a little bit of a trick, isn't it, to wonder how we're going to adhere our vellum on here. But this one makes it really easy because I really want it to stick. Because look, when this is down flat, you see more of that tulip pattern under there. So I'm going to take my seal, and everywhere there's these flowers, I'm going to put quite a lot of seal. And it's actually more than it needs really to hold it to the card. But I want all of these pressed nice and flat on here. And then the same thing where there's the leaves. I don't want it to go over the clear part of the vellum. I'm not going to do it over the words because you would see the adhesive through, but all of those embossed areas are going to hide that. You just have to be careful when you put it down because that's a lot of adhesive and it's going to make it stick. But now it's nice and flat, and see how much better you see all of the images through when that's flat to the card. So remember, in Card Club, you're getting the evergreen window pane ribbon and the polished dots. So here's what polished dots I'm working with until they come. And then my evergreen ribbon is over here on the spool. So I'm just going to pull it off. So just wrap this around. And remember, I said that this was, don't worry about what this looks like because it's all going to get covered up as you tie your bouquet together. So just tie a little knot here. I chose the polished dots because they also look, well, for one, I think the butterflies are what come with the tulips, and we did the butterflies already in Card Club. But the polished dots can be flower centers, but they also look like rain. And I just associate, I guess, probably not all parts of the country have as much rain as we get in the Midwest in April. But tulips definitely come out. The tulips are out everywhere here now, and they'll stay out for a good long while. Daffodils, well, I guess daffodils are out more. Tulips are all shooting up. They'll be out by Easter, because Easter's late this year. But it's definitely rain season. Our peas are up, just coming up, and my lettuce has all sprouted, just sprouted. And then there's snow. Not a lot of snow. And when it does snow much, it melts right away. So pop this on. This is Old Olive. And I don't think Old Olive is one of the colors. I think it's pear. But I was working on recipe cards for my niece, and my pear stamp pad was downstairs because I was watching This Is Us when I was working on recipe cards. And pear, the Old Olive, looked pretty. And then when I went to put this on, I thought, well, that looks like Old Olive anyways. And it matched well. The pear didn't really hold up as nicely to the cardstock. So I'm going to add 3 of these and see that they look like rain or dew. These come in kind of clear and pink. So if you're interested in joining my card club, there will be a link on this blog post, and the link for the blog post will be down under the video if you're watching on YouTube. So these are always going to turn out a little bit the same depending on how you hit with your flowers. This one obviously has more leaves because, see, this one has stems that you can't see. So I just took them off. Super fun. So if the best way to find out about my monthly thank you gifts, about my VIP video club, because those are just videos. If you purchase from me in April, you'll get to see the projects. After I finish this, I'm going to do my March VIP videos. That's a hard name to say. Sometimes the things I make up, I'm stuck with them. So maybe that needs a name change because it's hard to say. But if you're on my email list, then you always know what's going on. And you can do that by going to my website. There's a little pop-up there for you. Everybody have a great day, and join me next week to see all of the new catalog goodies as I do. Now, here's my next week. New catalog stuff sitting in the corner staring at me as I get to play with it after I work so many hours on my taxes. Then I can go play with new catalog stuff. Then I go back to my taxes. Then I do new catalog stuff. Then I do my taxes. Doesn't that sound like fun? I know you're all jealous. Everybody have a great one. Bye.